ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवतुत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। Chapter 8, Canto 2, Questions by King Parīkṣit. Raja Vacha Brahmana Chodito Brahman Gunakyane Gunasya Cha Yasmai Yasmai Yata Praha Narado Devadarshanaha. King Parikshit inquired from Shukadev Goswami, how did Narada Muni, whose hearers are as fortunate as those instructed by Lord Brahma, explain the transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is without material qualities, and before whom did he speak? एतद् वेदितुमिच्छामि तत्त्वं तत्त्वविदां वर हरेरद्भुतवीर्यस्य कथा लोकसुमङ्गलाः. The king said, I wish to know narrations concerning the Lord, who possesses wonderful potencies, are certainly auspicious for living beings in all planets. कथयस्व महाभाग यताहम् अखिलात्मनि कृष्णे निवेश्य निःसङ्गं मनस् त्यक्ष्ये कलेवरम्. O greatly fortunate Sukadev Goswami, please continue narrating Srimad Bhagavatam so that I can place my mind upon the Supreme Soul, Lord Krishna, and being completely freed from material qualities, thus relinquish this body. शृण्वता श्रद्धया नित्यं गृणतश्च चेष्टितं कालेन नातिदीर्घेन भगवान् विषयते हृदि. Persons who hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and always taking the matter very seriously will have the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna manifested in their hearts within a short time. प्रविष्टाः कर्णरन्ध्रेण स्वानां भावसरोरुहं धुनोति समलं कृष्णः सलिलस्य यथा शरत्. The sound incarnation of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul, Srimad Bhagavatam, enters into the heart of a self realized devotee, sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship, and thus cleanses the dust of material association such as lust, anger, and hankering. Thus, it acts like autumnal rains upon pools of muddy water. दौतात्मा पुरुषः कृष्णपादमूलं न मुञ्चति मुक्तः सर्वपरिक्लेशः पान्तः स्वशरणं यता. A pure devotee of the Lord, whose heart has once been cleansed by the process of devotional service, never relinquishes the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, for they fully satisfy him, as a traveler is satisfied at home after a troubled journey. यद् अधातु मतो ब्रह्मन् देहारम्भोऽस्य धातुभिः यद्रचया हेतुना वा भवन्तो जानते यथा. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental spirit soul is different from the material body. Does he acquire the body accidentally or by some cause? Will you kindly explain this, for it is known to you. आसीद्यद् उदरात् पद्मं लोकसंस्थानलक्षणं यावान् अयं वै पुरुषः यत् इयत्तावयवः पृथक् तावान् आसाव् इति प्रोक्तः संस्थावयवान् इव. If the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whose abdomen the lotus stem sprouted, is possessed of a gigantic body according to his own caliber and measurement, then what is the specific difference between the body of the Lord and those of common living entities? Ajaha srijati bhutani bhutatma yad anugrahat dadrishe yena tad rupam navi padma samudbhavaha. Brahma, who was not born of a material source but of the lotus flower coming out of the navel abdomen of the Lord, he is the creator of all those who are materially born. Of course, by the grace of the Lord, Brahma was able to see the form of the Lord. सचापि यत्र पुरुषो विश्वस्थिति उद्भवाप्ययः मुक्त्वा आत्मा मायां मायेशः शेते सर्वगुहाशयः. Please also explain the personality of Godhead, who lies in every heart as a super soul and as the Lord of all energies, but is untouched by his external energy. पुरुषावयैव पुरुषावयवैर्लोकाः सपालाः पूर्वकल्पिताः लोके अमुष्यावयवाः सपालैर् इति सुश्रुमा. O learned Brahmana, it was formally explained that all the planets of the universe with their respective governors are situated in the different parts of the gigantic body of the Virata Rupa. I have also heard that the different planetary systems are supposed to be in the gigantic body of Virata Rupa. But what is their actual position? Will you please explain that? यावान् कल्पविकल्पो वा यथा कालोऽनुमीयते भूतभव्य भवच्चद्ध आयुर्मानं च यत्सतः. Also, please explain the duration of time between creation and annihilation, and that of other subsidiary creations, as well as the nature of time indicated by the sound of past, present, and the future. Also, please explain the duration and measurement of life of different living beings known as the demigods, the human beings, etc., in different planets of the universe. कालस्यानुगतिर्यातु लक्ष्यतेऽन्वि बृहति अपि यावत्यः कर्मगतयो यादृशीर्द्विजसत्तमा. O purest of the Brahmanas, please also explain the cause of the different durations of time, both short and long, as well as the beginning of time following the course of action. यस्मिन् कर्म समवायो यथा येनोपगृह्यते गुणानां गुणीनां चैव परिणामम् अभीप्स्यताम्. Then again, kindly describe how the proportionate accumulation of the reactions resulting from the different modes of material nature act upon the desiring living being, promoting or degrading him among the different species of life, beginning from the demigods down to the most insignificant creatures. भूपाल ताल ककुव्योम ग्रह नक्षत्र भूभृतां सरित समुद्र द्वीपानां संभवश्चैतद ओकसाम्. O best of the Brahmanas, please also describe how the creation of the globes throughout the universe, the four directions of the heavens, the sky, the planets, the stars, the mountains, the rivers, the seas, and islands, as well as their different kinds of inhabitants takes place. प्रमाणम् अण्डकोशस्य बाह्याभ्यन्तरभेदतः महतां चानुचरितं वर्णाश्रमविनिश्यच्च विनिश्चयः. Also, please describe the inner and outer space of the universe by specific divisions, as well as the character and activities of the great souls, and also the characteristics of the different classifications of the castes and orders of social life. युगानि युगमानं च धर्मो यश्च युगे युगे अवतारानुचरितं यद् आश्चर्यतमं हरे. Please explain all the different ages in the duration of the creation and also duration of such ages. Also tell me about the different activities of different incarnations of the Lord in different ages. नृणां साधारणो धर्मः सविशेषश्च यादृशां श्रेणीनां राजर्षीणां च धर्मकृच्छ्रेषु श्रेषु जीवताम्. Please also explain what may generally be the common religious affiliations of human society, as well as their specific occupational duties in religion, the classification of the social orders, as well as the administrative royal orders, and the religious principles for one who may be in distress. तत्त्वानां परिसङ्ख्यानं Lakshanam hetu lakshanam purusharadhana vidhir yogasyadhyatmikasya cha. Kindly explain all about the elementary principles of creation, the number of such elementary principles, their causes and their development, and also the process of devotional service and the method of mystic powers. योगेश्वरैश्वर्यगतिर्लिङ्गभङ्गस्तु योगिनां वेदोपवेदधर्माणाम् इतिहासपुराणयोः. What are the opulences of the great mystics and what is their ultimate realization? How does the perfect mystic become detached from the subtle astral body? What is the basic knowledge of Vedic literatures, including the branches of history and the supplementary Puranas? संप्लवः सर्वभूतानां विक्रमः प्रतिसङ्क्रमः इष्टापूर्तस्य काम्यानां त्रिवर्गस्य च यो विधिः. Please explain unto me how the living beings are generated, how they are maintained, and how they are annihilated. Tell me also of the advantages and disadvantages of discharging devotional service unto the Lord. What are the Vedic rituals and injunctions of the supplementary Vedic rites? And what are the procedures of religion, economic development, and sense satisfaction? योवानुशायिनां सर्गः पाषण्डस्य च सम्भवः आत्मनो बन्धमोक्षौ च व्यवस्थानं स्वरूपतः. Please also explain how, merged in the body of the Lord, living beings are created and how the infidels appear in the world. Also, please explain how the unconditioned living entities exist. यथात्मा तंत्र भगवान् विक्रीडति आत्ममायया विसृज्य वा यथा मायाम् उदास्ते साक्षिवत् विभुः. The independent personality of Godhead enjoys his pastimes by his internal potency and at the time of annihilation gives them up to the external potency, and he remains a witness to it all. सर्वं एतच्च भगवान् पृच्छतो मे अनुपूर्वशः तत्त्वतोऽर्हसि उदाहर्तुं प्रपन्नाय महामुने. O great sage, representative of the Lord, kindly satisfy my inquisitiveness in all that I have inquired from you and all that I may not have inquired from you from the very beginning of my questionings. Since I am a soul surrendered unto you, please impart full knowledge in this connection. अत्र प्रमाणं हि भवान् परमेष्टि यतात्मभूः अपरे चानुतिष्ठन्ति पूर्वेषां पूर्वजैकृतम्. O great sage, you are as good as Brahma, the original living being. Others follow custom only, as followed by the previous philosophical speculators. न मे शवः परायन्ति ब्रह्मन् अनुशनात् अमी पिबतो अच्युत पीयूषं तद्वाक्य अब्धि विनिहृष्टम्. O learned Brahmana, because of my drinking the nectar of the message of the infallible personality of Godhead, which is flowing down from the ocean of your speeches, I do not feel any sort of exhaustion due to my fasting. Suta Uvacha. स उपामन्त्रितो राज्ञा कथायामिति सत्पतेः ब्रह्मरातो वृषं प्रीतो विष्णुरातेन संसदि. Suta Goswami said, thus Sukadeva Goswami, being invited by Maharaj Parikshit to speak on the topics of Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna with the devotees, was very much pleased. Praha Bhagavatam Nama पुराणं ब्रह्मसंहितं ब्रह्मणे भगवत प्रोक्तं ब्रह्मकल्प upagate. He began to reply the inquiries of Maharaj Parikshit by saying that the science of the personality of Godhead was spoken first by the Lord himself to Brahma when he was first born. Srimad Bhagavatam is the supplementary Vedic literature and is just in pursuance of the Vedas. यद्यत् परीक्षेत् ऋषभा पाण्डूनाम् अनुपृच्छति आनुपूर्व्येन तत् सर्वम् आख्यातुम् उपचक्रमे. He also performed hims he also prepared himself to reply to all that question. He also prepared himself to reply to all that King Parikshit had inquired from him. Maharaj Parikshit was the best in the dynasty of the Pandus, and thus he was able to ask the right questions from the right person. Thus ends the chapter 8 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, entitled Questions of King Parikshit. Hare Krishna. Okay, so this is all about questions, and the questions, that's why we appreciate the Sanatana Dharma is um, not bombarding or pushing uh, only abstract um, abstract instructions which may not be so easy to understand and follow, or rather when there are questions are not so much encouraged in other religions sometimes, but Sanatan Dharma we can see that we are in the second canto, we can see that Parikshit Maharaj is asking questions. If you can see, there is a simile in the case of Bhagavad Gita also, that Krishna was giving chance for Arjuna to speak out completely. He was giving all the reasons, etc., etc., and finally he asked, "Now I have question. Yeah, what is the question? Is I accept you as my guru, and because of my weakness and I'm not able to see things properly, please enlighten me." So then Yogeshwara Sri Krishna has taken over, and then he was not just away straight away telling the devotional service, the pure devotional service. No, he was explaining what is karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, and equally Arjuna was also asking question after question. Pariprashnena sevaya. Krishna is also saying there that tadviddi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Upadeshyanti tya gnanam gnaninas tattva darshinaha. So it says that there is so importance of asking questions and getting answers. And what a fortune that Parikshit Maharaj had was he had Shukadeva Goswami, who is the perfect in answering. This is also highlighted in one of the verses. We will go to that later. We will see how this chapter is. So Narad Muni is explaining. Uh, Parikshit Maharaj inspired Shukadeva Goswami to speak this Bhagavatam. So for that, he is saying, the Lord quickly manifests in the heart of a devotee who continually hears about him with faith and serious endeavor. Shrinvatah Shraddhaya Nityam Grinatascha Swachestitam Kalena Nati Dirghena Bhagavan Vashate Hridi. So the Lord stays manifest in one's heart, that too very quickly when one takes to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam um, very seriously. I mean, I didn't make explicit notes because I was not marking while I was reading all the purports. But at one point, there is a good reason why we should read Bhagavatam, why should we hear Bhagavatam is highlighted. I think we'll come to that. Harikatha purifies the heart. Pravishtaha karna randhrena swanam bhava saroruham dhunoti shamalam krishna sharilasya yatha sharat. So the example given here is that when a rain falls on autumn season, the muddy water is cleared. The autumnous rain clear the water reservoirs. So in that example, Prabhupada is giving that in the Western world, we can see that the water purifiers, yeah, they just drop some chemicals to purify the water, so that the water is purified, disinfected, etc. So Srimad Bhagavatam cleanses one's heart when one is taking to seriously hear the Harikatha. A devotee never gives up Lord's love lotus feet. This is the beauty of hearing to Bhagavatam. Dautatma Purusha Krishna Pada Moolam na Munchati Mukta Sarva Pariklesha Pantasva Sharana Sharanam Yatha. He says, such a person with pure heart, purified heart, never gives up Lord Lotus feet. As a traveler is satisfied at home after a troubled journey. The purport Prabhupada mentions that just like when someone is a trader, he is going out for work to earn some money. It is very difficult, very difficult. Yeah, we can see in 21st century how difficult it is. The more and more it goes, it gets more difficult. So a person is going out to work. hmm, of course, now one is able to come back on the same day, but in those days, one used to go for weeks until he sells what goods he has, that he gets money and then back. So it is so um, um, challenging. Yeah, so it is like, and but then the head of the family, the husband, what is he doing is he's just remembering his family members, and he is seeing that everything is done for them, and just by remembering them, their happiness, so he becomes relieved of the stress that he is going through. Yeah, so similarly what happens here is one is planning to go back to Godhead. It is not so easy. It is said it's not both. uh, it cannot be that there can be easy devotional life and attain perfection. It's not possible. This is what Prabhupada mentions in the purport. So one should really take it serious, work out very hard, and but always see the goal is so nice, so worthy to take all the stress, and to be very serious, dedicated, and determined to attain, to be on the path in spite of all the challenges. Then Parikshit Maharaj asks questions. Sukadev Goswami answers the questions of Parikshit Maharaj in just like in the previous chapter, right? In previous chapter, we saw there are the scheduled description of all the incarnations that happened, and then in which um, canto these are glorified is mentioned. Similarly, here the questions of what Parikshit Maharaj asks are also covered in length in the coming cantos. The questions he asked is, how did the jiva who is spiritual attain a body which is material? Huh? Both the Lord and the common living entity assume bodies, but what is the specific difference between them? Brahma appeared from the navel of the Lord. Is the form of Lord similar to that of material body of Brahma or different? This is also right. I think if you see in Christianity, there is this saying, there is this, they say, humans have the form as of the Lord. To just say that, okay. And here is also a similar question where Parikshit Maharaj is asking, Brahma appeared, does he look the same as the Lord? Where does the master of Maya, Karanadakashai Vishnu, lie? I have heard that the planets and their governors are imagined as the limbs of Virat Roop. Can you please explain? So this will again be explained in the 10th chapter, in the last chapter of this canto. And then he asks questions about Kala and Karma. And again in Kala, there are two kinds of Kala. One is this years and one is the Yugas. And another dimension of Kala means being alive and yeah, dead. So they are different. So Parikshit Maharaj asks this, and Sukadeva Goswami clarifies that in the 10th chapter as well as in third canto. And how time is perceived in various ages. What is the lifespan of human beings, demigods, etc.? What are the divisions of time, destinations achieved after karma? How do various karmic activities lead to various bodies? Certain creation of various places in this universe and their inhabitants. So, this is what we just covered in the fifth canto, right? So, we were going through Dhruva Loka, Patala Loka, and all these things. So, in the fifth canto, this is explained. And yeah, fifth canto. And what are the dimensions of the universe? This is all explained in the fifth canto, 16th chapter to 25th chapter, or yeah, 26 is also telling about hell. Yeah, so 26. So these chapters. And then characteristics of Varnashrama system is covered in the seventh canto after Prahlad Maharaj, when the Yudhishthir Maharaj He is asking what are the activities one should do, one should not do. What is the Asura Varnashrama? What is Daivi Varnashrama? That is covered in the seventh canto. So, and then about yugas, duration of yugas. This is asked, and then about Sadharana Dharma. What is that? Bhakti. And Savishesha Dharma. What is the occupation according to birth? And Apad Dharma. So, this is asked, which is also covered in that when Yudhishthir Maharaj is explaining, Narad Muni explains to Yudhishthir Maharaj about what is dharma and not different kinds of dharmas one can follow. And then about Sankhya, worship of Purusha Avatar and Yoga, Mishra Bhakti is covered in third canto, 25th, 23rd to 28th chapter, where Kapila Muni is telling to Devahuti, his mother, about Sankhya philosophy. Then opulence, destination, destruction of subtle body of great yogis is also covered in that part. So in this way, we can see all these things are questions that are covered in the upcoming cantos. Yeah, there is what is the conclusion of all Vedas, Upavedas, Itihasas, Puranas, and that is covered in the 12th canto, last chapter, which is the last chapter of the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. Then deliverance from sansar, how to attain that, what are favorable activities and unfavorable activities of bhakti, uh, and what are the rules of Vedic, smartha and kamya karma, procedures for artha dharma kama, and what is this reappearance of jivas and pralayas, what is the cycle happening, and creation of pashandis, mm, heterics, means how how come there are atheists. So that is what is also asked. Then about existence of Nitya Siddhas, means there are people who are there is this mm, who are always liberated beings. So who are they? So that is also explained. And how does the Lord perform his leelas using yoga maya and then disappearing without any attachment? So this is covered in the next chapter in the last two verses. Shukadeva Goswami covers them. And then very important is from verse 24. Because Parikshit Maharaj is, let me open the purport because, yeah, if I had created and marked the notes would been easy, but let me, first of all, this 22 is very important. I just remember that because in the purport, please also explain how merged in the body of Lord, living beings are created and how infidels, yeah, means people who are atheists, appear in the world. Okay, let me read the purport quickly. There are ever liberated, which are Nitya Muktas. Okay, please be careful because now I'm going to give a classification of. hmm, No. Yeah, anyway, let me start. There are two kinds of living entities. There are the ever liberated, Nitya Muktas, unconditioned living beings, as well as the ever conditioned, Nitya Baddhas. So one is Nitya Muktas and other one is Nitya Baddhas. Of the ever conditioned, matlab Nitya Baddha, there are again two divisions. They are the faithful and infidels. Of the faithful, there are again two divisions, namely the devotees and mental speculators. The mental speculators desire to merge in the existence of the Lord, means they are one who want to merge in Brahma Jyoti or to become one with the Lord, whereas the devotees of the Lord desire to keep separate identity and constantly engage in the service of the Lord. Uh, the devotees who are not fully purified, as well as the empirical philosophers, become conditioned again during the next creation for further purification. So, whoever is this Nitya Baddhas, they are given a chance. If they take shelter of the Lord, they become a devotee in the right process of devotional service. Then gradually they come more and more purified, so that once they attain the perfect purification, then they go to the spiritual world. Such conditioned souls become liberated by further progress of devotional service to the Lord. Maharaj Parikshit asked all these questions from the bona fide spiritual master in order to become fully equipped in the science of God. So we can see here, we can see here, yeah, we got 24. Yeah, I'll take maybe 5 minutes more, not more than that. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, this chapter also, there are a few nice purports. Not only is Maharaj Parikshit inquisitive concerning all he has inquired about, but he is also anxious to know about what he has not been able to inquire. So he is saying, please impart full knowledge in this connection. I might have not asked some questions which are very important, but please tell me everything that I need to know. uh, from very beginning of my question. Atra pramanam hi bhavan. He is saying, among all sages, you are the authority. This 25 is, I would say, the key verse of this chapter. It is saying, O great sage, you are as good as Brahma, the original living being. Others follow custom only, as followed by previous philosophical speculators. Purport Prabhupada explains us what does that mean. What is the supreme position of Shukadeva Goswami? I don't know. In one of the sessions, someone asked, na? It may be argued that Shukadeva Goswami is not the only authority of perfect knowledge in transcendence because there are many other sages and their followers. Huh? In fact, before Shukadeva Goswami, it is said common contemporary to Vyasadev or even prior to him, there were many other great sages such as Gautama, uh, Kanada, Jaimini, Kapila, Astavakra, and all of them have presented a philosophical path by themselves. Patanjali is also one of them, and all these six great rishis have their own way of thinking, exactly like the modern philosophers and mental speculators. The difference between the six philosophical paths put forward by the renowned sages above mentioned and that of Shukadeva Goswami as presented in Srimad Bhagavatam is that all the six sages mentioned above speak the facts according to their own thinking. But Shukadeva Goswami presents the knowledge which comes directly from Brahmaji, who is known as Atmabhu or born of and educated by Almighty Personality of Godhead. So here it's very important to understand, and that is the reason, yeah, we may hear so many times ISKCON would be saying, for be take shelter in the disciplic succession. Why is it so important? We can see here. Vedic transcendental knowledge descends directly from the personality of Godhead. By his mercy, Brahma, first living being in the universe, was enlightened. And from Brahmaji, Narada was enlightened. And from Narada, Vyasa was enlightened. Shukadeva Goswami received such transcendental knowledge directly from his father, Vyasadeva. Thus, the knowledge being received from the chain of disciplic succession is perfect. One cannot be a spiritual master in perfection unless and until one has received the same by disciplic succession. That is the secret of receiving transcendental knowledge. Now we don't know whether Chat GPT can enable us to connect to any disciplic succession. I don't know how in what capacities, or there might be so many who may come up with their own spin off thought on Srimad Bhagavatam. They can come up with so many things, but no, we should be very careful. Yeah, because a man made can become a mad maid. So we have to be careful. The six great sages mentioned above may be great thinkers, but their knowledge by mental speculation is not perfect. However, perfect and empiric philosopher may be in presenting a philosophical thesis. Such knowledge is never perfect because it is produced by an imperfect mind. Such great sages also have their disciplic successions, but they are not authorized because such knowledge does not come directly from the independent Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana. Anyway, the purport is little further. Mundane philosophers, being imperfect in themselves, disagree with other philosophers because a mundane philosopher is not a philosopher at all unless he presents his own theory. Intelligent persons like Maharaj Parikshit do not recognize such mental speculators, however great they may be, but hear from the authorities like Shukadeva Goswami, who is non different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the Parampara system, as is specially stressed in the Bhagavad Gita. Hmm. So this is very important. And he's saying, what is the beauty? What is the beauty of hearing to such Bhagavatas is said by Parikshit Maharaj. He is saying, Name Savaha Parayanti Brahman Anasanad Ami Pibato Achyuta Piyusham Tad Vakya Abdi Vinihristam. He is saying, O learned Brahman, because of my drinking the nectar of the message of the infallible Lord, uh, which is flowing down from the ocean of your speeches, I do not feel any sort of exhaustion due to my fasting. So sometimes we may ask, now, how could Parikshit Maharaj sit for 7 days, 7 nights, hearing Bhagavatam without break? This is possible. He is himself saying it is because he had a nice Bhagavat who is speaking Bhagavatam so nicely, so perfectly. That's why it is said. And I think there are so many purports I didn't cover where Prabhupada strongly highlights the danger of hearing Bhagavatam from professional reciters. One may be very expert in pronouncing the Sanskrit shlokas, but one should be very careful if they are actually devotees. Hmm. Otherwise, it says they are doomed. Huh? It says the disciplic succession from Brahma, Narada, Vyasa, Shukadeva Goswami is particularly different from others. The disciplic succession from other sages are simply a waste of time, being devoid of Achyuta Katha or message of infallible Lord. The mental speculators can present their theories very nicely by reason and arguments, but such reasons and arguments are not infallible if they are defeated by better mental speculators. Maharaj Parikshit was not interested in dry speculation of the flickering mind, but he was interested in the topics of the Lord because factually he felt that by hearing such a nectarian message from the mouth of Shukadeva Goswami, he was not feeling any exhaustion. Huh? So it is that's why it said in some editions of Srimad Bhagavatam, the text of the last line of this verse reads Anyatra Kupitad Vijat, which means the king might be overwhelmed by the thought of his imminent death by snake bite. The snake is also twice born. It is written here. And its anger is compared to the cursing Brahmana boy who was without good intelligence. Maharaj Parikshit was not at all afraid of death. So that last line of Bhagavatam, uh, this Anyatra Kupita Dvijat, is not valid. Maharaj Parikshit was not at all afraid of death, for he was fully encouraged by the message of Lord. One who is fully absorbed in Achyuta Katha can never be afraid of anything in this world. And in conclusion, Shukadeva Goswami is very pleased. He is so pleased. Why? Because he has someone who is asking the most delightful topic that he can relish, that he can attain success and perfection. So that's why he is saying, uh, Srimad Bhagavatam can be legitimately discussed only among the devotees of the Lord. Why? Because Srimad Bhagavatam is said as post degree. Where in which purport is that coming? Yeah, it's somewhere it comes. Yeah, it is of that high. Yeah, in this only. Yeah. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the postgraduate study of Bhagavad Gita, can also be discussed between scholars and devotees like Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Otherwise, the real taste of nectar cannot be relished. Sukadeva Goswami was pleased with Maharaj Parikshit because he was not at all tired of hearing the topics of the Lord and was more and more anxious to hear them on and on with interest. Foolish interpreters unnecessarily tackle the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam when they have no access to the subject matter. There is no use in non devotees meddling with two topmost Vedic literatures. And I mean, Prabhupada writes, and therefore Shankaracharya did not touch Srimad Bhagavatam for commentation. In his commentation on Bhagavad Gita, Sripad Shankaracharya accepted Lord Krishna as the Supreme Lord, but later on he commented from the impersonalist view. But being conscious of his position, he did not comment on Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, so that is further mentioned. And then the final verse, he is saying, he began to reply to the inquiries of Maharaj Parikshit. He says, Srimad Bhagavatam is the science of the personality of Godhead. We shouldn't think Bhagavatam is just a matter of a collection of stories. It's not just collection of facts. It's not just collection of history, historical events. No, Srimad Bhagavatam is a science of the personality of Godhead. Why? Because in this there is so much knowledge that is presented about the spiritual entity, spiritual world, spiritual beings, spiritual elements, then Kala, Karma, and everything is mentioned. Huh? So that's why it's science. And finally, Yadyat Parikshit Rishabha Pandunam Anupritchati Anu Purvyena Tat Sarvam Akyatum Upachakramaya. He's saying he also prepared himself to reply. Why? Because he saw, thus he was able to ask the right questions from the right person. This is what we will cover from next chapter. Thank you very much. Hmm. Yeah, as I said, I didn't highlight the important points, but in case if you're reading, yeah, it's always nice to mark them for future reference. Any quick questions or anything anyone want to share? If not, then yeah, wish you a nice evening. Tomorrow we catch up with 2.9. Yeah, that Chatushlokas are coming in that. So please don't miss that. पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, नाम आचार्य शिला हरदास ठाकुर की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी। हरि हरि।